everyone, Kaylee here. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make those little bohemian-ish bridal hair pieces you saw at the top of the video. I saw them online, like so many on Pinterest and Etsy and things like that, and I loved them, and I kept looking around and I kept finding ones that I liked, but they were about, $200 to $500, and there was no way I was going to spend that much on just a hairpiece that I would wear for a couple hours. So I decided to make one myself and then show you guys how to make one, and then I ended up making 3 different ones, and I decided to just go ahead and show you guys how I made all 3. And I want you guys to guess in the comments which one I ended up wearing in my hair. So comment below, tell me which one, 2, or 3 did I wear in my hair. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And the other thing that happened with this is that I filmed it and I actually loved the way it turned out. It was perfect. Like, I filmed like my hands doing it and all that, and then I deleted half the footage somehow. I don't know where it is. It's nowhere on my computer anymore. So I'm refilming it now. We're gonna just kind of talk ourselves through it a little bit instead of doing my typical little voiceovers. So hopefully this is okay, but that's kind of why we're doing things a little differently today. I had some technical difficulties. And my video on my hair and pictures of my wedding dress and everything are gonna be up on Friday. So thank you for your patience and bearing with me on that. I've had similar technical difficulties with that video, and so I've just been working through and trying to get as much done as I can. I hope that you guys like it. I did not mean to drag this out that much. I'm so sorry, but I will see you guys on Friday with that video, so just hold your horses and you'll see it then. And now we're gonna go ahead and start with this video. So the supplies you'll need are 1 lace applique. I found this on Etsy for $2.50. You'll also need a beaded applique. I found this one on Etsy for $6, and this one from style number 2 on Etsy for $12. Next, to attach the headpiece to the head, you will need either some hair extension clips or a comb, kind of like you see on this veil. You can buy either one online, or these you can find in craft stores, and these you can find in local beauty supply stores. And obviously you're going to need a needle and thread, which you can find just about anywhere. For style number 2, you're going to need some rhinestone strands to create the little headband look. You can buy those at your local craft store for about $20 a yard, which is a little expensive. So what I actually recommend doing is checking out somewhere where you can get some discount jewelry. This necklace is from Target, and it has lots of different strands on it. You got some chains, some pearls, but you also have rhinestones. So what I did was to take one of these rhinestone strands off and use it as one of the bands on the headpiece. Alright, and for style number 3, you're going to need some tulle, and I got this little spool of it at Michael's for $4. For style number 1, you're going to start out with your lace applique, and then take your beaded applique, and what you're going to do is to kind of go around and try to find where it looks best. And honestly, this one is kind of a lot of guesswork. When I was looking around online, I was just kind of guessing as to what applique would look good with which one. But because the lace ones are so inexpensive, you could buy more than one and just play around with it and see what you like best. So basically what you're going to do is just take this and mess around, move it around until you find a place where you think it looks good. Once you have it where you want it, you're going to go ahead and pin it in place. I used bobby pins because, well, that's what I do. But basically once you have it here, you're going to go ahead and begin to sew around. And your simple sewing in and out technique is good enough for this. But you're just going to start at one side and then go around following the inside of the applique. Just make sure that you're taking nice small stitches and that you don't overlap the thread over any big details. You don't want to be able to see the thread. Kind of follow the grooves of the beads or the rhinestones, and the thread will just kind of tuck in and hide in between those two things so that you don't actually see it. So just take your time, be patient, and I think when you really take your time and you're patient here, it pays off really well in the end. And now that you have your beaded applique attached to your lace applique, it's time for step 3, which is to add in your hair extension clips. You could also use a comb if you want, but I think these are much more secure. To add your hair extension clips, all you're going to do is to kind of choose where on here you want to go. If you have one that's about 7 inches like this one, I recommend just doing one on either side, like so. But if you have a longer one, you might want to do a third one in the middle. If you have a very small one that's maybe 3 to 4 inches, you could just get away with 1 clip. But choose where you want to anchor your clips and then go ahead and place them there. And you're going to want to pin them in place either with a bobby pin or straight pins or whatever. And then you'll sew through these last 2 holes just like you would sew through a button. Putting the needle in through one side, taking it out over here, placing it down so that it comes through that second hole, and pulling it out there. And then you continue to loop around, putting it in that top hole, pulling it out here, pinning back here and going through the bottom hole, and just continuing that around until you've gone around about 3 or 4 times. That ought to get you a nice secure hold on each side. So go ahead and do that on one side, do it on the other side, and then you're going to take your second extension clip, place it, and do the exact same thing again. Now for style number 2, you're going to follow all the same steps for style number 1. So you're going to sew the 2 appliques together and then sew on your hair extension clips. And then it's time to attach the rhinestones. So then you're going to join the 2 rhinestone strands together, hold them together, and place them against one end of the applique. Then you're going to go ahead and sew these into place. And actually, you can just do whatever works for you to sew these. I kind of did like 5 million different things. What kind of worked the best for me was to make a figure 8 around the 2 strands. So I placed the needle into the middle and pulled it around and had it come out the one side, and then placed it in the middle again, came around the other side. So, you know, you're kind of figure 8ing around them. And then once I had that done 4 or 5 times, I took a stitch and started the same thing up a little bit higher and did a figure 8 up here, and then I did a figure 8 up here. Then once this first side is sewed, what you're going to do is to go ahead and attach this applique to your head in the way that you want to wear it. So let's say I wanted to wear it back here, I would go ahead and attach it right here. And then you're going to go ahead and pull the strands around and shape them to be where you want them on the head. And then go ahead and just pin them there so that way you already have them and that's exactly where you want them. Then go ahead and take it off of your head and sew those in the exact same way that we sewed the first side. And then you have your applique all done. Now for style number 3. Step 1 is to go ahead and attach the 2 appliques together just as we did in style number 1. Number 2 is to cut your tulle. Now you're going to want this to be 12 to 18 inches long depending on what you're going to do with it. If you want to do the exact same thing that I did, you can do about 12 inches or just long enough that you're going to be able to tie it in a knot in the back of your head. And then you want to make sure that it's the proper width. You don't want it to be so wide that it takes over your entire head. You also don't want it to look funny up against the applique. So hold the applique in place and make sure that you like how the width looks. And if it looks right to you, then you can go ahead and continue. If not, you can go ahead and cut it down and make it just a little bit slimmer. For me, that was all kind of about eyeballing it, and it really does depend upon kind of the shape and the size of your head and the size of your applique. So play around with that, find what you like. You can always, you know, if you have a large spool like this one or a large bolt of tulle, you have a lot of room to try around and kind of find what you like the best. Step number 3 is to attach the tulle to the appliques, and you're going to do that by sewing around in the exact same manner that you sewed the 2 appliques together. If you want, you can sew all 3 together in one fell swoop. I just like doing them in 2 separate steps, that way I can make sure that nothing is sliding and slipping around. You want to make sure that everything is sewed together exactly as you want it. So if you feel confident that you can sew all 3 together without losing your place at all, go ahead and do it in one step. But for me, I thought 2 was just a little bit safer. So either way, you're going to end step 3 with these all 3 sewn together. Step number 4 is to go ahead and add in your hair extension clips just as we did in style number 1. That's it for style number 3. To wear it, you're going to go ahead and clip it into the hair exactly as you want it. And then you're going to take the 2 ends of the tulle and tie them in a knot behind your head. Once those are secured in a knot, you're going to go ahead and take your veil and place that just over the 2 ends. That way that you cover up the knot and the ends and it looks like it's all one big piece. And it's actually really cool and very, very statement-y. So if this is the kind of thing that you like, it's very easy to create. So that's it. I'm sorry this was a little bit of a makeshift setup, but I hope this is helpful for some of you brides who might be like me and really, really liked the look of those headpieces but couldn't afford the giant like price tag that usually goes along with them. These are really easy to make and hopefully this helps you. And if you don't want to follow the exact same steps I do, hopefully this at least gives you inspiration for how to make your own headpiece for your wedding. So that's it, and I will see you guys in my next video on Friday, which is how I wore my hair for the wedding and the answer to which of these 3 I ended up wearing in my hair for the wedding. Comment below, tell me which one you think I'm going to wear, and I will see you guys on Friday. Mwah! Bye.